I think we're gonna get into sloppy pancake batter because I'm looking forward to this chat. No, it's good. This is going to be good, bruv. Hang on, let me get out my 6 pages of notes for everything we're going to go through here. No, look, in all seriousness, this is a really interesting conversation. 2 things can be true at the same time. Karen Plunkett can be the biggest drama queen, he thinks he is the most important person in all of broadcasting. If you haven't seen or heard it yet, I'm going to play you something tonight where he's trying to make the BSA a deal because he thinks he's going to take the BSA apart. So he offers them on his broadcast.
Had to run stuff past him.
He offers them a deal to make it all go away. Like, this is going to be trouble for you, BSA. It is adorable. And it's just, and that can be true, that he is the biggest drama queen. And this is more true, the biggest victim, the biggest snowflake the world has ever seen, right? That can be true. And this conversation around the BSA regulating the internet is really interesting and could be quite worrying for some people. Both of those things can be true. So let's have a look. As soon as I saw this yesterday, I saw the clip of him talking about it. He leaked it the day before. Oh, it's a big thing. The fight's coming tomorrow. The fight's coming. And then he did. I'm like, oh, okay. And straight away, my first reaction was, this will earn him money and will help his grift. He is able to paint himself now as the one outsider. I'm going to play you some conversation between Mike Hosking and the CEO of BSA. Everything she says just dismantles any of his conspiracy theorists. It's so funny that he always talks about rabbit hole radio and cookers and stuff, the words he uses, and the amount of conspiracy theory he has around why they are attacking him, the self-grandiosing, the self-importance he puts in himself, that the state wants to take him down. And when I play you the comments from the CEO, she's like, well, we got a complaint. And when we get a complaint, we have to action it. That's it. And she's like, and because we'd never done it on the internet, it's a bit of a test case. Hoskins even goes something like, it's a bit of a reach, isn't it? And she goes, maybe. It's real chill. Like everything, he's like, they're coming for me, they're coming for you. She's just like, no, we just want to see if this is a thing or not. And we got a complaint, and so we're having a look. Like real low key. But anyway, speaking of the grift, here's one. Join our fight for freedom. Fuck me, $5,000 deal
sake.
For the Platinum Project in 2000. So that started straight away. And it will, because, it's a bit like reality check radio. They went around a lot of the farmers and they had a target, I think, of $5 million. And my understanding is they got most of it. And how they got it, I know people that were at some of the meetings, not because they were going to be participants, but they were friends of someone's house that they were going to use. And so they went along, and this person reckons they hit their $5 million mark to start that thing off. And they did it through fear and, like, they're coming for you. This is it. It's a tantalizing message to get behind someone, even if it's horse shit. I'm going to play for you. This is the first conversation he did, which was 17 and a half minutes on the platform. I just want to play for you the self-importance of the man. This is less than a minute. This man thinks he is New Zealand's Martin Luther King, right? Have a listen.
I think the Broadcasting Standards Authority is a joke. I think what it's done is appalling and Orwellian. I am going to OIA every single piece of communication within the Broadcasting Standards Authority about me and the platform. And I can guarantee you they're going to say, oh, we can't tell you what legal opinions we got because that's legally privileged. Not good enough. I'm going to go to political parties and politicians. I'm going to tell them to stop the...
I'm going to tell on you. Why are you being so mean to me? I'm going to tell on you.
Broadcasting Standards Authority. And I will not comply. The platform will not comply.
And it does have a bit of sovereign citizen feel to it, doesn't it? A little bit?
A little bit. No contract.
If that means the end of the platform, I would rather die on...
This is the best line. You ready for this? You'll like this, Chewie.
The platform will not comply. And if that means the end of the platform, I would rather die on my feet than live on my knees
Oh, for
to
fuck's
bureaucrats
sake,
who
mate.
would censor not just me, not just the other hosts, not just our guests, but you as well.
This is our Independence Day.
I would rather die on my knee. Right, Family Foundation. Pretty funny.
Oh,
right.
what a grandiose twat.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Largest drama queen in the world. And the subject matter of what he's talking about still be an interesting conversation to have.
Look,
I have to play the...
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
100%. Like, I think it's a valid test case. Like, what makes us, what we do here at BHN, any different because it's through YouTube, or if we were sending it out over the airwaves on a frequency or something like that? Nothing.
Yep. Well,
It makes no sense.
This is the conversation, and we get into this with the Mike Hosking bits, as part of it is about the appearance of a radio station. Like, because you could then go, okay, so we are a new friend of the show, Brie Elliott. What about what she does? Anyone on TikTok that does political commentary. So that's why it's an interesting conversation to be had.
100%.
And I honestly don't think that the BSA will or can regulate the internet, because if they did it, they'd have to do it in a way, it's kind of an all or nothing, and they can't do all. So I think this will kind of go nowhere, but it's still an interesting conversation. And the reason it's happening to Plunkett is he's the test case because he got a complaint. It's as simple as that. Let's go and have a look now, because he also talked to the Free Speech Union. This is going to be a thumbnail, by the way, this particular freeze frame. I've already done it because it's beautiful.
It's like he's jammed his balls under the toilet seat when he sat down. That's the face.
So the Free Speech Union are trying to turn Sean Plunkett into a martyr.
Well, it was to give a picture to our audience and to bring the narrative to life, which is essentially, this is an extraordinary move by the BSA to try and claim jurisdiction over online podcasts, online media, etc. And they're coming after you, probably because of your history, probably because you're controversial. But
they're after you because you've been mean to them. We're going to make you our poster child martyr.
We all know that it starts with one person, and it starts with you. And if they get this jurisdiction, I don't see where it ends. It really
the
opens
problem
up.
to me is, Jelaine, they haven't actually formally redefined what a broadcaster is. They've just said, we got a complaint about this guy. Could we make him a broadcaster? Let's do it.
Yeah, that's not true. And we'll show you that when the head of the BSA actually talks to Mike Hosking. And as you see, someone freaked out and said, look at the number of clips I've got up. And they're all little short ones just to go through. And the next part of this conversation with the Free Speech Union, and I'm showing you this as well because we're going to rebut this with the person from the BSA, is they were talking about the merits of the complaint. Like, they're basically going, this shouldn't even be a complaint. Whereas the BSA is going to tell you they don't have they're not allowed to ignore a complaint. It doesn't matter how frivolous it is. They have to action them. So it's actually not that they're going after Plunkett with a terrible, like, this is it's frivolous. It's not warranting anything. It's like they first have to investigate. They have to. That's what's in the legislation around what they do. So this is talking about the merits of the complaint.
With you. And the second is, I'm like, let's even have a look at the merits of the complaint that they're basing this on. One person says that they don't like, what you say. I might disagree with you about cultural practices, but I'll defend your right to call anything mumbo jumbo in this world: macroeconomics, Catholicism, the tea
Well, the
kanger.
only time
Equality for the blacks. Little things off the top of my head which don't mean anything. That's a joke, by the way. No legal action, please. I'm just taking the piss. Using an extreme example that obviously would not fit with you one iota.
I've ever fallen foul of them. Well, I didn't. My employer did. Radio Live. Or was it It was Radio Live. They spent 8 months.
He's losing his mind. He got fired from Magic.
And took unprecedented steps to consult outside the BSA to find academics who would essentially call me a racist.
Which does sound like a waste of money, because all you need to do is go and have a look at the platform's like playlist. That's a pretty easy way to find an answer to that question, be it true or not, Mr. Plunkett. I'm not commenting on it. I'm just saying they'd find an answer in there without spending heaps on lawyers. Come on, mouse, push play.
And at that time, that decision caused deep concern amongst many journalists in that it seemed to be a witch hunt.
So again, I am the victim. It's a witch hunt. It's always about them. I'm being picked on. They're picking on me. They're coming after you, Sean Plunkett, says the Free Speech Union, because you've been critical of them. It's always, why are you picking on me? This is about, this is not fair. Without saying this is not fair, because that would show an amount of weakness. It's every other word that means that. And he is the ultimate snowflake victim here. I'm going to play the offer in a minute, Chewie, because he makes them an offer. But before I do that, anything else?
One parallel springs to mind, Pat. There was once a guy that was persecuted. Maybe you've heard of him.
Jesus
Christ. Maybe there's a lot of parallels between JC and SP.
Yeah, but I just think that if SP travelled in the same regions, literally, that JC is said to have travelled in, he might be on the wrong side of the wall for a portion of that, not like it that much. So, you know, but he went to Israel,
nailing this guy,
and he saw it for himself.
We're nailing this guy to a tree for saying, be nice to your neighbours and love one another. And we're nailing this guy to a tree because he's a cunt. We are not the same.
I want to make it very clear that tonight's commentary is mostly good-natured ribbing and mostly sarcastic comedy than anything accurate, in case anyone's lawyers happen to be watching. That's what we're talking about.
Oh, look, I just want to say that my one and only mission here tonight, and this is where Pat gets worried because I'm going to say that I'm on a mission. Mr. Sean Plunkett is perfectly happy to mention you, Pat Britton. I don't think my name has ever crossed his lips. I'm not working hard enough.
I found another one the other day because I heard them banging on about free speech. Look up if you ever want to have anything to throw back at these guys or their supporters, just look up Halal Kiwi. Remember with Halal Kiwi, all of a sudden Halal Kiwi's online presence should be regulated by the government. He literally said it because Halal Kiwi was pointing out businesses that people should not support because they were Zionist. And Plunkett actually said, the government should regulate this. Free speech, apparently. Free speech for me, but not for thee. So if everyone, and I looked it up because I wanted to find it. And he said in that one, he looks a bit like that guy, Pat Brendan. So sorry, Chewie. I'll text him later on and say, could he mention your name first in his rebuttal?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Let's have a look at this. And look, see, while you're all here, Plunkett supporters, up there's a QR code. You can just go in that and go and nominate for us for the...
Do a rage vote.
Yeah, for a rage vote for the New Zealand Podcast Awards. This is the offer. And this is this man, the ego he has. Like, honestly, I'll just play it. But he is trying to cut a deal so as to not have to go up against the BSA, saying he's doing them a favour. It's unreal.
I'm going to make an offer. Can we mark the time code on this? I'm going to make a very clear offer to the broadcast.
Time code is a freckle past a pile of bullshit.
Standards Authority. If you haven't realised how far you have overstepped the mark, if you haven't read the room and seen the universal condemnation of your attempt at overreach
on me,
then you are incompetent and you need to be disbanded. But I'll make you a peace.
That's my offer. Disband now or else. Not quite.
Offering this morning.
Oh, that's good of you.
You abandon your plans. If you abandon your plans publicly, make an announcement. You will not seek illegally to widen your jurisdiction to include everyone on the internet and people like me and outfits like the platform. then I won't seek a judicial review and a declaration about your powers. We could save the taxpayer millions of dollars that you will spend in legal fees to be defeated.
And obviously that means, and the platform would be spending as well in legal fees.
So it is up to you, board members of the BSA, to make a decision in the interest of the taxpayers of New Zealand and the people of New Zealand.
Please
Pull
stop
your
being mean
heads
to me.
in,
Oh, very naughty.
and we the people will leave you alone.
Yeah, no, it's not we the people. Don't include me in that bullshit.
people.
It's not we the people. So when you negotiate with someone, you typically have something behind you that's warranting negotiating with. This is like the guy going into the courtroom and go, prosecutors, if you decide right now to drop all the charges against me, prosecutors, I will walk out of this room and I won't make you look so foolish. It's just like, what are you thinking? What do you think is there? What power do you think you have in the situation? Now, again, massive drama queen, massive ego, massive, just everything beyond the pale. Interesting conversation. Chewie, I'm going to do Mike Hosking shortly, but they're only little short clips. As well,
Are you?
30 seconds.
Do you need to head off early?
Yeah. Get the lube.
We've
You
got
said-
the platform
you started that.
addressing. I did.
Nice.
Shall we send this to him? Courtesy
We
of
can
BHN?
Said that to him, and then with one of these BHN enamels with you and me on it on top.
Yeah, look, I think Detective Rogers raises a good point. Can we also acknowledge that he's doing the dumbest thing right now that anyone can do when subject to potential legal action? He's talking about it constantly.
Yeah. Well, he's talking about it constantly because when I say it's a grift, what I'm saying is he's fundraising off it. That's why he's talking about it constantly.
There's money to be made from suckers.
Let's do this, because everything you've just heard and a whole bunch more is put to bed like boom, 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 boom by Stacey Wood, who is the chief executive of the Broadcasting Standards. And you'll hear in her voice how she's kind of like, we don't know if this is going to work or not, but it's like the EV thing, Chewie. At some stage, we're going to have to test this, and someone made a complaint. At some stage, we're going to have to put road user charges on EVs. At some stage, the Broadcasting Standards Authority needs to understand, is the internet part of our jurisdiction? What do we think of broadcasting on the internet? Does it fit? And that's what it comes down to. So Hoskins asks her, why now? Like, because, Sean Plunkett, they're after him. There's a reason they're doing it right now. They're coming after Sean Plunkett because he's controversial and he says hurty things towards government. This is all about the government. Why now?
Good morning.
You're reaching here a bit or not?
Yes and no.
You're reaching here a bit. Maybe. Like, this is the relaxed nature of it.
We are applying the act that we have, but it is the first time that we've done so in this way.
Why now?
Why now? Because we've received a complaint that fits the definition. And
Because a complaint came in. That's why now. No nefarious underground trying to take this man apart because he thinks he's so important and such a counterculture revolutionary because there's a complaint.
meets our formal requirements. We can only act when we receive a complaint, and we feel that we're required to in accordance with our act.
There you go. Why now, Chewie? Is it because they're trying to shut down the man? Is it because they want to take this guy apart because he's the truth speaker? It's no, because the complaint came in that fits the criteria. That's the reason. Do you want to speak to any of it? Because if you don't, I'll keep trucking.
Let's keep trucking through all of your tabs.
So the free speech lady. Oh, can we speak to the merit of it? Like, this doesn't have any merit. And can I be honest with you? It sounds like a bit of a light. I've seen a few complaints in my day when working in radio. It feels like a pretty lightweight one that they're connecting tikanga to mumbo jumbo to racism. It does feel like a pretty lightweight sort of a complaint in the grander scheme of what things do and can happen on broadcasts. However, the BSA has no power over what they investigate. That's part of their legislation. If there's a complaint that meets, they have to do it. No big conspiracy. No, they're using a lightweight complaint to come after me. They have to investigate.
Difficulty with it, if I was advising you, which I'm not obviously, but the difficulty with the complaint you're dealing with is it's in what I would term a fairly, it's an inconsequential complaint. It's some whinger who says, so and so said so and so. This isn't a die in the ditch type decision that you could stand behind.
Well, we haven't considered the merits of the complaint, and I can't talk about that. But what I would say is the Act doesn't...
So they didn't consider the merits of the complaint. That's not what they do. They go to the Act and...
give us that discretion when accepting a complaint. The authority has the power to uphold, not uphold, or decline to determine. But even in making that decision, it needs to accept for consideration every complaint that meets the very basic formal requirements of the Act. So our hands are sort of tied if we accept that transmission of a program by means of telecommunication includes the internet.
So this is the question. Does transmission of a program from the internet equate to broadcasting that comes under the Broadcasting Standards Act? That's the conversation. That's a really interesting conversation because what do we do, Chewie? We broadcast to the internet.
We broadcast on the internet.
Yeah. Really interesting question.
Like, for the longest time, the internet's been the Wild West.
Yep.
Because everybody just assumes broadcast is television and radio.
Yep.
And you get some really weird sort of stuff. Like a few years ago, I was thinking of putting together like a music podcast, and I thought, well, I want to be legit, and I want to pay licensing fees and that sort of thing. So I contacted APRA and all of those sort of guys, and like, so how do I pay? Like, if I set up a radio station, I'd have to pay you fees for the music that I play. I want to do that, but like an internet radio station. So how does one do that? And basically got several emails that were just like, well, we don't know, but definitely don't do it.
That's changed.
We don't know.
I know that's changed now because I've got friends who have production companies that make podcasts, and they pay a fee each year to be able to use any bit of music they want. Doesn't breach copyright.
Oh, that's good.
So what I'm saying, what we're saying, and even in this, the laws need to move with the times. The Broadcasting Standards Authority hasn't. And rather than this, but I mean, like maybe there should have been complaints about us. I wouldn't have cared. But maybe they picked the wrong person to do their test case on, but it always had to be someone. And you pick the person that's going to cry and whinge and bitch the most about it because he is a giant snowflake. This next clip is an interesting one because she's talking about how we justify the jurisdiction of broadcasting. What does broadcasting mean? And she talks about looking like radio. And this is a part of the conversation, Chewie, that now digs down into what it is. Does it look and sound like radio? Mike Hoskins about to go, what the fuck does that mean? He doesn't say fuck because he's on ZB. But this is a really interesting part of the debate.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is the wording of the Act. But yeah, it's applying a pragmatic lens to it. Does it look like radio? Does it sound like radio? Does the person call themselves a broadcaster on their social media?
Yeah, you can't, Stacey, you can't possibly ask, does it look like radio? Does it sound, what on earth is that?
When you go to, when I access radio, for instance, I don't use a radio set. So the way I access RNZ National, for instance, is I go to their website and press a button to listen live.
Well, that's your first mistake, isn't it?
As an example, when I'm listening to the Mike Hosking Breakfast, I might do the same.
Well done.
But when you go to Sean's website, you do the same thing. Why does Wi-Fi differ from radio waves?
Really interesting. Really interesting point. So one of the differences with us is we don't have a platform. People don't go to our site and watch us. The platform has a specialist built app that people go to and listen. People go to YouTube, they go to Facebook. Even if they go to our own website, it only gets the YouTube carries. They don't go to our site. You want to listen to RNZ, you go to rnz.co.nz, you push play. You want to listen to BHN, you go to youtube.com normally, or facebook.com, or twitter.x. fuck knows. So that might be the difference. That might be. There's a determination. There's a difference. Now, that means if that is the determination, all the platform would need to do to get away from it is get rid of their app. and move on to more social and public media, because then it's not their app, which they wouldn't do because they need to survive off the submission. And one last thing here, Chewie, then I'll let, because it's not very quick. Because speaking of that, oh no, this is one more thing. Hang on, I can't remember what I put this in for. Let me play it. I think this is once again the executive kind of making it clear that, oh, it's the Pandora's box. Hoskins goes, "You're opening the Pandora's box, eh?" And she just goes, "Yep." So this is not like nefarious. This is not like they're after him. She's aware that if they're going to look at regulating the internet, this is going to be massive.
I mean, my only concern for you is that this is Pandora's box personified, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, so she knows. And just coming back to that thing I was about to say about
Mumbodora's box.
Coming back to the idea of they won't go to a public broadcasting system like we do. They'll keep it behind a paywall because they need that to survive. And right at the end of this conversation, Mike Hosking, he decided to put one little oar in on Mr. Plunkett, and he wanted to make it very clear to Mr. Plunkett that financially he is probably struggling more, and maybe he should be focusing on that. This is what Mike Hosking said.
That's the sort of stuff they deal with on an ongoing and regular basis. If I was Sean Plunkett, now that I'm handing out advice all over the place this morning, I'd be more worried about my financial circumstances than I would about some regulatory authority that's really not to bother us.
So there you go. So there you go. There's all this stuff. Really interesting conversation. Is the difference going to be RNZ has its own platform, ZB has its own platform, Radio Wātea has its own platform, the platform has its own platform, BHN doesn't. We weren't on, but we were mentioned on RNZ last night when they were talking about this. Hayden Donnell was talking about what does this mean for groups like, and he said for groups like BHN and for groups like Bomber, what does it mean for them? And maybe one of the big differences is we don't have a platform per se. Our platform is not publicly owned, but is actually, our platform is actually the marketplace. Because everyone can get access to us. There's nothing behind paywalls. Maybe that's a part of it too. Sir, lots of information there. Your thoughts?
Yeah, look, I think it's going to be really interesting. I think it absolutely makes sense. Like when they're talking about, well, why are you doing this? It's like, because
we have to.
Because we have a complaint. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And lots of people forget that, right? Like if an organization could go, nah, we can ignore this one. We can safely ignore this one. It doesn't seem that important. Then nothing would ever get investigated. And look, I think when you look at how shows that do a similar thing to what we do, what the platform does, what reality check radio does, that sort of thing. It is the fucking Wild West. So something testing, that's what this is, a test.
Yep.
The law and whether it is fit for purpose for how people consume broadcasting is valid. I saw someone mention in the chat, like, how many people watch TVNZ, RNZ, TV3 through an app or through streaming through their TV or something like that.
Yep.
So if it's not broadcast, if it's through the internet, maybe they don't have to worry about age restrictions or something like that. You can get that sort of stuff. So yeah, like it's they've left it very late, very late to realize that things are on the internet. But there you go. I think Sean's just rattled because he has said several times that he is on rock solid ground because the Broadcasting Standards Act doesn't apply to him.
Yeah.
So he can do what he wants.
Yeah.
He'd be ethically as dubious as he wants, and he seems to enjoy it. So if he's first up to test this case, it is delicious. I love it. I'm here for it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't think they can. Like, I honestly don't think that the broadcasting standards have the ability to do that. And I think it is the Wild West. You do hear laws in the UK in particular where people are being arrested for things they say and things they tweet. That seems to be one extreme. I just don't, put it this way. when I say I don't care, it's not that I don't care, meaning it could have a detrimental impact. This is not going to affect us. Because if it comes in, like there's been several occasions, and obviously I'm not going to say what they were, where I have chosen for us not to do something or not to go somewhere with a story because I used to work in a world like Sean Plunkett used to that had an ethical standard. As soon as Sean slipped into this world of the Wild Wild West, he shedded all those. He shedded. They were shed. And you hear things like completely unethical journalistic practices like door stopping people, which is when he calls people on the phone, puts them straight on air without their knowledge. Completely unethical, would never go on a mainstream radio station. But that's because it doesn't work on a mainstream radio station because it's unethical and it's bad practice. And he is continually... The other thing about it is there's areas within the BSA about fairness. And I don't know if you've ever heard a Sean Plunkett interview. Pretty much every single one of them, which is being interviewed by someone he disagrees with, probably could have been had up for being unfair. So I think that it doesn't matter. I mean, we're part of the media council. The main reason we did that was so we get into the lockups and stuff. But I'm not like, I don't care one way or the other if we're a part of the media council. I don't care one way or the other if the BSA can regulate what we do because we run an ethical ship here. And if we did something that warranted an upheld complaint on the BSA, I would want to correct it anyway. Plunkett's concerned, and he said it in a bunch of his things, is he thinks this is a threat to everything they stand for because they will be inundated with woke complaints. Now, what he's saying is, I want to be the biggest arsehole I can and have no repercussions for it. Because it doesn't matter if the BSA is flooded with woke complaints. If there's no ground for those woke complaints to bring on some kind of retribution or some kind of result, then they won't. So he's worried that this is going to blow up his cesspit and he won't be able to play in the dirt anymore with all the pigs. Because playing in the dirt at the moment, although he has mentioned on some of those conversations, I know I ingest too much of it, about what a rough year it's been. What he means is financially. And you know that Mike Hoskins just had a stab there. That's because the industry knows. Me and Chewie have sat in front of people at MediaWorks who told us how much money the platform was losing every month. Now, that was a couple of years ago. So I'm not saying that's the case now. The industry knows. So when Mike Hoskins says that, what that means is the platform are fucked financially at the moment. They may come out of it, they may get through it. I'm just saying it's not good for them, which means any other expense on things like having to stand by an ethical thing, no, it might be the thing that tips them over. And then Sean will be able to get on his knees and die. Is that what he said? Something like that. Rather than die in the dirt, rather than live in the nussy or something. I can't remember what it was.
Do you think when he was having his Independence Day speech, because that's what I'm going to call it, that he was imagining like the New Zealand flag rippling behind him and the music dramatically swells to a crescendo, and then people around the country, around the motu, and cafes,
he won't know what that
bars
is.
And workplaces are going, this is the most stupendously brave man I've ever heard. What are we listening to? And then the person goes, we're listening to the platform because we believe in freedom. What a twat.
Yeah.
What an
Chewie.
Absolute blowhard.
I think those last two sentences wraps up this story perfectly. Twatty McBlowhard. There you go. But it still is a really interesting story. I mean, I actually asked Stacey Wood to come on, obviously. And this is the other thing. He went on and on and on and on about inviting Stacey Wood onto the show. Like, the person who's running the organisation that's investigating a complaint would then go on your broadcast and talk to you about it. Oh, like yeah. I'm a breakfast radio host, and I've been charged with drink driving, and I'm going to have the judge come in and talk to me about what? What are you talking about? The arrogance was just outstanding. Yeah. Outstanding.
The only downside, there's one downside I just thought of. Is look, this complaint might not go anywhere. It might not be a great test case, but if it doesn't go anywhere, he is going to be unbearable.
Of course, and that's likely what's going to happen. I mean, I can't imagine how anything will come from it other than this is too much. Internet too much. We need a staff of 14,000 to do this. I mean, that's one of the things she said. They've got a staff of 8, you know.
Yeah.
And look, this will also have repercussions. People will want to do the version of slap suits, and you'll find there'll probably be complaints put in, you know, about Bomber and about us and about, you know, various people. But it's like, if we do something wrong, if we do something unethical, if we're not fair, then I'd stump up and say, yep, all right, no problems. Oh, kia ora whānau. Have a small favour to ask you. On the bottom of the screen right now, there is a QR code. If you click on that QR code, it takes you to the New Zealand Podcast Awards, the nomination page for listener choice. If you would be so kind as to head to the listener choice page and perhaps think about nominating Big Hairy News for the Listener Choice Award. It's a great way you can support us. It's a great way that we can continue to get our name out there. And if you enjoy the content that we provide for you, maybe you would consider heading to nzpodcastawards.com/nominate or click on the QR code to nominate Big Hairy News. Thank you.